Sir, I think we can start the session. People are joining. There is some connectivity issue, but slowly people will join. So we can start the session, sir.
Sure, sir. No problem. No issue. Then let's start the session.
Yes, sir.
So good.
Yes, sir. You are audible and your slides are also visible, sir.
Okay. So good afternoon all. Myself, Dr. RPS Chauhan, Professor and Head, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at IMS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. I am here to discuss the machine learning techniques. And in this my session, so I'm going to discuss what is the life without machine learning, what is the life with machine learning, what is the definition of machine learning, what are the various algorithms which are used in machine learning, and the some life that the coding of the machine learning algorithm with the help of this Jupyter notebook and the application of machine learning in the field of healthcare. So let's see life without machine learning. So we know that the world's best search engine won't be the best when there is no machine learning, or we can say that when the machine learning techniques are not there or these methods are not used. So we cannot search anything from this Google because this is the best search engine. And in this Instagram and Facebook, old friends uses this machine learning techniques. Online shopping nowadays is very common with the help of this Amazon. The shopping made easy with the help of machine learning. Then we get the best movie suggestion with the help of that machine learning. That is, Netflix is nothing but from that we can get the best movie suggestion. So this is the life with machine learning. So the machine learning is how useful in day-to-day life. Further continue in gaming, this machine learning will take a major role. That is, the virtual reality glasses provide high immersive gaming experiences. Then we have the gesture control gaming, and in FIFA 18 we know that the opponent gets stronger as you progress in the game. So these are the various areas, various application where the machine learning techniques have been used. In Amazon, we get the suggestions regarding the products, which products is best according to the ratings. We can buy the products. The price of the product varies based on the demand. If the demand goes high, the price goes high. So this is the technique which is used. The customer segmentation with the help of this machine learning technique, the customer can be segmented, means once the customer buy this product, he used to like or buy this particular product also. So this is the technique which is very much common in online shopping. For the product suggestions, price of the product varies based on the demand, and the demand goes on increase, then the price also increase. The customer segmentation, we categorize the customers on the basis of their liking, whether the customer will like this product, must be like this product also. Then the Uber, which is using this machine learning to find the suggest drop pickup point location automatically. Uber Share finds customer traveling in similar routes. It allocates the booking based on time, distance, price, and ratings. All these based on the machine learning techniques. So these are the machine learning techniques which are common, which is very much common nowadays. Now let's machine learning. What is machine learning? So machine learning the machine learning and application of artificial intelligence that provides system the ability to automatically learn, improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. So if I'm talking about any ordinary system, so in this ordinary system, we are writing code and the system will execute this code one by one. So this is the ordinary system, but I'm talking about this artificial intelligence. So here the system can be trained with the help of the historical data. On the basis of this historical data and the various machine learning algorithm, we can use the machine learning algorithm to train the system. And once the training is done, we can predict the output. And if the output is not up to the mark or when the accuracy of the model is less, then this further improvement takes place. Means we are retrain the model by standardize the data or learn or train the model with the categorized data, and this way we can further improve the now the following steps which are involved in the machine learning process. The first step is nothing but the data gathering from the this is the first step to gather the data. The data can be gathered from this Kaggle or the UCI machine learning repository. This is the first step. Gather the data. Means we cannot feed this data directly into the machine learning the model, because if we feed directly this data into the model will give or less accuracy, or we can say that it will not predict the required result. So this is the very important step in the machine learning. Data pre-processing is very important. So we pre-process the data, we clean the data, identify any missing. Then once the data pre-processing is done, then choose the model, train the model. Once the model is trained, then test the model, and this test is done. On the basis of that, we can split the data on the basis of training and testing. We'll predict the model and then find the accuracy on the basis of the test value. If the accuracy is not up to the mark, then tune the model to increase the accuracy. Once the model is fine, it will predict good, or if the accuracy is high, then we can deploy that model for particular application. So these are the various process which is involved. Pre-processing, train the model, test the model, then tune the model and predict the model for the particular application. The next is the types of machine learning. Machine learning is mainly categorized in three types, that is the supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So let's see what is the meaning of that supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Supervised learning, as its name suggests, here the data input is nothing but the labeled data. We are applying the labeled data. The machine learns from the training data. What is the meaning of this labeled data? Because we know the data input and we also know the response. What is the response of the model? So here the training is done in the presence of that supervisor. So that's why it is called supervised learning. And if we explain this supervised learning, suppose a teacher is taking a class and it teaches some problem to that student. So it will train the student on the basis of the certain kind of method, certain kind of the algorithm, or certain kind of the techniques. And the student is trained, then it will calculate the correct result. So when the training is done in the presence of a supervisor, this is called supervised learning. Here in supervised learning, the data is labeled and the response is also known to us. So this is the thing. Generally, the classification and the regression methods are used. Next is the unsupervised learning. So here in unsupervised learning, the data is non-labeled. So here in unsupervised learning, the model or the system will form a cluster. It will find the hidden pattern, and on the basis of that, it will predict the output. Next is the reinforcement learning. So here the reinforcement learning is nothing but it is present. Here there is an agent and there is an environment. Then this agent can be rewarded when it predicts right, and it is penalized when it is not predicting the correct result. So here the machine or the algorithm will reinforce to predict the correct result. So this is nothing but the reinforcement learning. Generally, reinforcement learning is used for the gaming purpose or in the robot navigation. So these are the various type of machine learning. The first is supervised learning, where the training is done in the presence of supervisor. The data is labeled data. And the second is unsupervised learning, where the input data is not labeled. With the help of this data, the algorithm will form a cluster on the basis of the features. And third is nothing but reinforcement learning, where the agent will train to improve the efficiency of the model by learning its own experience. So further continue in time, so it can understand that. So we have the known data. So this is the apple, and known response. We know that this is apple. So this is the known response, and this known data, that is the data input, is applied to the model. That is nothing but the supervised learning model. So when this known input is applied, and when we apply the new data, the machine will predict the correct output, which is nothing but the new response is it is a apple. So here this is labeled data response, which is known to, which is nothing but this is the apple. So the output is known to us, the input is labeled data. When the new data is fed to this machine learning model, it will predict correctly, that is nothing but the new response, and it will predict correctly, that is nothing but it is an apple. So this is the supervised machine learning method. Next is unsupervised. So see here we have the unlabeled data, the input data. We have mango, then we have the apple, then other foods. So here then the model can see the pattern of these fruits, and it will form a clusters. So this is the cluster of the apple, this is the another fruits. So this way the unsupervised learning will work. It will form the cluster on the basis of the shape, the color, or the attributes or the parameters, and according to that it will predict the output. So this is nothing but unsupervised learning. Next is the reinforcement learning. So here in reinforcement learning, so we are applying the input, which is nothing but apple, and if the model will predict that it is a mango, so the response is that it is a mango, wrong, it is an apple. So this feedback is provided that to the model, and the model will correct the response by predicting that it is an apple. So here the agent will provide, or it is reinforced to predict the correct result. So when we apply the new input, it will predict correctly. So this is nothing but the reinforcement response. So here the model is reinforced to predict the correct result when we apply the new input. When we apply the first one, here in reinforcement learning, the input data, it is applied the response is wrong, it is a mango. But when the feedback is provided, here the model is reinforced to predict the correct result. So this is nothing but the example of reinforcement learning. Next, the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. So as already explained that in case of supervised learning, we have the labeled data and we have the predict output or the known response in case of supervised learning. So here the direct feedback is provided by the supervisor and the model will predict the correct result. Well, in case of unsupervised learning, we have non-labeled data as an input. No feedback is provided. No feedback is provided means there is no supervisor. Then the model itself will find the hidden structure from the cluster on the basis of the parameters, on the basis of the shape and size or color. Like that, it will form the clusters and accordingly it will predict the output. So this is nothing but the unsupervised learning. So this is the difference between the supervised and unsupervised learning solution. Is that how we choose the algorithm? The algorithm to be used depends on the following parameters. The first is the problem statement. What is the problem? Whether it is classification problem, whether it is regression problem, like that. What is the complexity of the algorithm? Whether the algorithm is more complex or less complex. What is the size, quality, and nature of the data? What is the volume of the data? What is the size of the data? What is the quality of the data? Whether the data is required pre-processing or the data cleaning operation, like that. So on the basis of this parameter, we can choose the algorithm of the machine learning. The right machine learning solution. So we have the classification, regression, and clustering. So this classification is used in the supervised learning method. The algorithm for classification is decision tree classification, Bayes classification, random forest classification, logistic regression, and k-nearest neighbor. So these are the various algorithms which is used for this classification problem. The clustering is nothing but the unsupervised machine learning. So in this clustering, it is used and the data needs to be organized to find pattern in case of product recommendation. So in case of product recommendation, we use this unsupervised learning method. The algorithm which is very much commonly used, which is nothing but k-means clustering. The next is the regression. It is used when a value needs to be predicted, like the stock price. When the values needs to be predicted, that is in the form of stock prices. So here the algorithm will form the linear relationship between the independent and the dependent variables. So when there is a linear relationship between the independent and dependent variables, so the most common algorithm which is used, that is nothing but the linear regression. So this is the right machine learning solution for the classification, clustering, and regression. And the following algorithm used for the classifications are decision tree, Navy Bayes, random forest, logistic regression, k-nearest neighbor. For clustering, k means clustering, and for regression, we use algorithm that is linear regression. Some of the machine learning algorithms are k-nearest neighbor, linear regression, decision tree, Naive Bayes classifier, and logistic regression. We'll see what is k-nearest neighbor. The k-nearest neighbor algorithm works in a way that a new data point is assigned to a neighboring groups it is most similar to. So in k-nearest neighbor, k can be an integer greater than 1. The value of k is greater than 1. So for every new data point we want to classify, we compute to which neighboring group it is closer to. So we take the value which is always greater than 1. For every new data point we want to classify it, we compute to which neighboring group it is closer to that. So this is nothing but the k nearest neighbor. So let's understand that the k nearest neighbor example, we have clusters. This cluster 1, which consists football, cluster 2, which consists basketball, and cluster 3, which consists the tennis ball. So these are the three cluster 1, cluster 2, and cluster 3. So we need to find that what is this new data point. So this new data point will be whether it is the football, basketball, or tennis ball. So this is the k nearest neighbor. We use k nearest neighbor method to find the black ball, whether it is tennis ball, football, or basketball. So now we have new data, that is data point, that is black ball. We will now try to classify this using KNN, k nearest neighbor algorithm. So here in k nearest neighbor algorithm, let k is equals to 5, we'll take the value, that's k is equals to 5. So these glowing ones are the closest 5 balls to our new data point, that is black. These are the glowing points, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are the 5 balls which are closer to this new data point, that is nothing but the black ball. So here there are 3 tennis balls. So in this we have 3 tennis ball, 1 football, and 1 basketball. So thus we will classify that black ball as a tennis ball. So this way we can classify the new data point, which is a tennis ball, because it is very close to that. We have 3 tennis ball which is very close to that this new data points though. So the new data point is nothing but the tennis ball. So here there's our new data point is the tennis ball. So this way we can use this k nearest neighbor algorithm. So next is the linear regression. Linear regression is a process used for estimating the relationships among variables. Here one of the variable is dependent on one or more independent variable. For example, weight and height of a people. If the height will increase, automatically the weight will increase. So we have 2 variables, variable 1, variable 2. We have 2 data points. The regression algorithm will find the estimates, the relationship between these variables. So there will be a linear relationship, a straight line. So it will form the relationship between the independent and the dependent variables. So in this linear relationship is obtained in between independent and dependent variable, which is nothing but the linear regression. So here this linear regression, the objective is that we have to find the best fit line. So this blue line is nothing but the best fit line. It has the least value of d. What is d? D is nothing but the distance of this data point from this blue line. If the distance is minimum, the square of the distance, the sum of the square of the distance is minimum, then this is nothing but the best fit line. The regression line is nothing but as a blue line, has the least value of d, which is given by the square of the distance, the summation of the square of the distance of the data point from this blue line, which is nothing but the best fit line. So the aim in the linear regression, or the objective of the linear regression, is to find the best fit line which has the least value of d. Next is the decision tree. Decision tree is a graph that uses a branching method to illustrate every possible outcome of a decision. So in decision tree for a loan approval, so this is the decision tree for the credit history. It has the 2 outcome, that is nothing but the good or bad. If the credit history is good, and if the income is low or high. So if the income is high, the loan approval is big and small, both is possible. But if the income is low, the loan amount is small only, there is no possibility to approve the big amount of loan. On the other hand, if the credit history is bad and if the income is high, and since the credit is bad and the income is high, so it is possible to get this small amount of loan, but it is impossible or it is not possible to take the big amount of loan because the credit history is bad. Credit history is bad. On the other hand, if the income is low and if the credit history is bad, then there is no possibility to take the small or big amount of loan. So this is nothing but possibilities with the help of the no root. Entry is a graph that uses branching method. So there is a branching method is possible of just next is naive-Bayes classifier. The naive-Bayes classifier technique is based on conditional probability and is particularly suited when the complexity of the input is high. This the classifier technique based on conditional probability and is particularly suited with the complexity of the input is high. The input is highly complex in nature. So it is mainly used to get a SPOM, whether that mail is in the SPOM or not SPOM. So this is nothing but the receives mail, old SPOM mail, then you use the or applying the Bayes theorem and predict the mail whether it is SPOM or not SPOM. So for predicting this mail whether it is SPOM or not, we use the Bayes classifier and applying the Bayes theorem. We'll see this algorithm in detail in the next slides. The naive-Bayes classifier is also used to determine whether to play cricket or not on the basis of the weather condition. So if the weather condition is sunny, then there is a high probability to play a cricket. If there is a weather is windy, or we can say that the weather is so there is a less probability to play a cricket. And if the weather is rainy season, that rainy, so there is a no probability to play cricket. So this way we can use or classify the data on the basis of naive-Bayes classifier whether to play cricket or not. Machine learning. So we have some popular algorithm. We have many algorithms, but these algorithms are popular as a machine learning. The first is linear regression, logistic regression, decision tree, random forest, k-nearest neighbor, classifier. So let's see these algorithm one by one. So this is regression, as already explained that. So there is an independent variable which is denoted by x and dependent variable which is denoted by y. The linear regression algorithm will find the objective is to find best fit line. If the value or the data points to the best fit line is minimum, then this is nothing but the best fit line, and this is the objective of linear regression. The linear regression is a linear modeling approach to find relationship between one or more independent variable denoted as x and dependent variable also called target denoted as y. So here let us consider the example predict a sales of ice cream based on the temperature. So this is the data points. See in this graph, when the temperature is high, the sales is also high. So on the basis of this temperature, we can predict whether this sales of ice cream is high or low. So we use linear regression algorithm plotting the sales of ice cream based on temperature. If the temperature is high, the sales is high. So regression line to predict the sales. So here the objective is that to predict the best fit line, which is nothing but the linear regression. How to find the best fit line? We randomly select the best fit line and we'll calculate the distance of this data point from this. If the value of this d is minimum, then we can achieve the best fit line. This is nothing but objective of linear regression. So we'll randomly select this line and we'll try to find the distance of the data point from this line. So this is the another, this process is iterative in nature. So we are randomly selecting the line and we try to find the minimum value of D. And once the value of D is minimum, this is nothing but the best fit line. So here, this is the best fit line because the value of D is least or minimum distance between the data points and the line is least. So the regression line is nothing but the blue line, which is the line because the value of D from this data, the value of D is minimum. The data point, the distance between this data point and the line, which is called the best fit line, is minimum. That's why it is the best fit line. So this is nothing but the objective of linear regression. So let's see how to implement this linear regression for predicting the employee's salary based on year of experience. So here we have new joining and we need to predict how much do we pay to this new joining. So here the HR team trying to figure out how much to pay to new joining. This is the plot of the data points, the year of experience and the salary. If the year of experience is high, the salary is high. So employee data of salary based on year of experience. If the year of experience is high, the salary is high. So we need to predict the salary of new joinee with the help of linear regression. So let's see how we do this. So this is the Python code on this Jupyter notebook, and it will, with the help of this code, trying to explain how to implement this linear regression for the salary of new joining. So here in first section, we need to load the important libraries, that is the pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn. So these are the important libraries which is required to import it. And then import the data, that is the salary data, CSV. So here the data can be imported from data set, and these are the data, the year of experience and salary. It has two value. So year of experience is nothing but the independent variable and salary is nothing but the dependent variable. So we have two value. Year of experience is represented by X and salary is represented by Y. So we have two values. So we are using this linear regression on the basis of the year of experience. The salary will be predicted with the help of linear regression. So here we define the or initialize the independent and dependent variable. As X is nothing but the independent variables, which is nothing but the year of experience, and Y is nothing but the dependent variable, which is nothing but the salary. Then visualize the data with the help of this bar plot. So you can very well see that as the year of experience will increase, the salary goes on increase. So there is a kind of linear relationship between the salary and the year of experience. So this way, this linear regression is very useful to predicting the salary of new joining. This next trick is that we have to split the data into the train and test. So we do not process all the data for training purpose. We split the data into the test, and we keep this test data, and on the basis of the model is predicted, we can check the accuracy of the model with the help of this test data, that is nothing but Y test. So here for splitting the data, there is a important function which is required to be imported from the sklearn model, that is nothing but the model selection. We have the train test split. We do not worry too much to write this code because there is already a function which is available in this sklearn model which will train and test and split the data. So here this xtrain, xtest, ytrain, ytest. So here we are splitting the data in the xtrain and xtest. So here we need to pass this parameter, that is nothing but test size. So here it depends upon the individual whether we go for 50-50 ratio or 80-20 or 70-30 ratio or 25-75 ratio to train and test the data. So it depends upon the individual's choice. So here I am taking this 2/3 of the data for training purpose and 1/3 data for the test purpose. So this is the important step in machine learning, that is splitting the data into the train and test, then fit the linear regression model to training data set. From sklearn linear model will import the linear regression. So this is already available function in the sklearn. We need to import this linear regression from the sklearn. Then we can fit the linear regression. So this function, fit function, is commonly used in all algorithm to train the model. So this fit function is always used to train the model. So with the help of that, we can train the model that is called the linear regression model. So here the model is trained. Test set result. So with the help of this predict function, we can able to predict the model. So please pay your attention that here I am using both X-train and Y-train, but for predicting we are only I am only taking this X-test value. So here when we use this X-train and Y-train, we are using this both the value for training the model. So because we are training the model, so we are using both the value, that is X-train and Y-train. But if you want to predict, we are using only X. The output, which is known output, and on the basis of those output, or we can say that y-test is nothing but the unseen data for the model. So once the model is predicted on the basis of this unseen data, which is called y-test, we can predict the accuracy of the model. That's why we are not supplying the y-test value to predict the model. So this is the meaning, this is the technique which is commonly used in machine learning. Next, the implementation of linear regression that visualize the trend set results. So this is the best fit line and this result. So here the model will predict very well because the straight line or the best fit line will passes at the center of the data which is used for training purpose. Next is the visualize the test set result. So here again the best fit line will passes pretty center to this available data which is used for the test purpose. So here if I'm taking this value, if the year of experience is 4 and one of the data point that which is on the best fit line, and on this particular data point, suppose the salary is 60,000 and two more data point which is at value, that is the year of experience is 4, it was predicted wrongly, or we can say that there is a residue or this is an error. So this predict good, and these 2 points will nothing but there is error. So if this error is minimum, then this is nothing but the best fit line which is obtained in linear regression. So this is the meaning of that. Now computing the regression accuracy, we need to compute the mean absolute error, mean square error, median absolute error, variance score, and R2 score. So here we find that R2 score, which is 0.97, which is very much near to 1. As R2 score is near to 1, the model is able to predict data very well. So this way we can find the accuracy of the model on the basis of the residue or on the basis of the R2 score. If the value of R2 score which is more closer to 1 or unity, then we can say that model is able to predict very well. So this way we can predict the salary of new joinee with the help of linear regression. Now discuss the next algorithm, that is nothing but logistic regression. Logistic regression predicts the output of a categorical dependent variable. Therefore, the outcome must be categorical or discrete value. Discrete value means it can be either yes, 0 or 1, true or false, or we can say that logistic regression is mainly used for binary classification. But instead of giving the exact value as 0 and 1, it gives the probability value which lies in between 0 and 1. Logistic regression is much similar to linear regression, except that how they are used. Linear regression is used for solving regression problem, where logistic regression is used for solving the classification problem. So this is the main difference between the linear regression and logistic regression. Linear regression is used to find the or used to calculate the regression problem, while the logistic regression is used for the classification problem. So here, what is the difference between linear regression? Here, the linear regression will predict the y or output can exceed 0 and 1 in the range. The range can be exceed from 1 and 0, while the logistic regression will able to predict y within the range, which is nothing but a sigmoid curve. So this is the logistic regression. Logistic regression is a classification algorithm used to predict discrete or categorical values. Let's identify the customer behavior who will default on their credit card payment. So we have the credit card users, the data of the person which uses credit card and make credit card transaction. And this is nothing but the plot of monthly credit card balance and the annual income of the customer. So let's predict the default customer with the help of logistic regression. So implementation of logistic regression, the first section is again we need to import the libraries, that is nothing but the pandas, numpy, matplotlib library to plot the or visualize the data, seaborn also used to find the correlation between the data. The next step is that to import the data. So these are nothing but the data. We have the user ID, gender, age of the customer, estimated salary, and whether that purchase the output, whether that customer will purchase or not the product, whether the customer will purchase the product or not. Next, we'll initialize the independent and the dependent variable or the predict value or the target value, that is X and Y. Visualize the data by drawing the correlation map, that is the heat map. So here, this is the high correlated value, and here this is the less correlated value. So this way we can visualize the data with the help of this visualization plot. Next step is that to split the data into the training and testing set. So again, the commonly used approach will import the train test split algorithm from the SKLM model selection and will split the data into the training and testing. So again, so we do not pass the whole data for training purpose. We are splitting the data in the form of train and test. We use 2/3 portion of the data for training purpose and 1/3 portion of the data for the testing purpose. And this testing data is nothing but the unseen data, which is used to compare the predicted value with this unseen data, which is called the test data. And this way we can find the accuracy of the model. Next step is that we need feature scaling. What is feature scaling? Sometimes in the data there is a large value and some value is very less. So this standard scaler is nothing but the pre-processing function which is commonly used for feature scaling. So it will scale the data in a particular range so that this process is used to improve the efficiency or the accuracy of the models. That's why we are going for the feature scaling or pre-processing of the data for better accuracy or better output or better response of the model. Next step is that to fit the logistic regression to train the data set. So here from the sklearn linear model, import the logistic regression, then initialize this logistic regression, that is log R, that is nothing but the logistic regression, then passes the X train and Y train value, train the model with the function, So this is the common function which is to train the model, that is the fit function, and we are supplying the train and the x train and y train value to train the model. Next, predict the model, use the predict function, and here we only supply the x test value because we need to predict the model, and with the help of this predicted value we'll compare the y test value, how well the model is predicted. So this is the output, that is the output in the form of 0 and 1 because it is a binary classification for problem. So here the response is in the form of 0 or 1, yes or no, true or false. So if the value is 1 means it is true, and if value is 0 it is false. So this the response or the model is predicted. Then evaluate the model by the confusion matrix. So for this logistic regression we need to compute the confusion matrix to calculate the accuracy of the model. So this is the confusion matrix which can be imported from the sklearn matrix, and here the confusion matrix we supply this y test value and y predict value. This confusion matrix will compare the predicted value with the test value, and it will, this way we will find the accuracy of the model. So here the confusion matrix, if the accuracy of the model is high means we have the high value diagonal value. So this diagonal value is high. If this diagonal value is high, the accuracy of the model is high. So this can be understood with the help of the following table. Here the total the total y test value, which is nothing but 134. So this is nothing but the 79 plus 38 plus 6 plus 11, which is nothing but the 134, and the diagonal value, that is which is 117. So here the accuracy is given by that 117 divided by 134, which is nothing but the true negative plus 2 positive divided by the total number, that is n, which is 134. So the model will give the accuracy which is nothing but 87%. Then the model will misclassify rate, that is nothing but the another value, that is 11 plus 6, that is false positive and false negative, means the false positive false negative means the model is misclassify that. And here that is 6 plus 11 is nothing but 17 divided by 134. So here the model is misclassified, that is 13%. The misclassification rate is 13%. So this way we can calculate the accuracy of the model with the help of logistic regression. Next is the decision tree and random forest algorithm. How we implement the decision tree and random forest algorithm. So let's see what is decision tree. Decision tree is a tree where each node represents a features called attributes. Each link or branch represent a decision, and each leaf represent an outcome. Categorical or continuous value. Job offer. So here accept the job offer. So it will decide on the basis of the following outcomes. So if the salary is greater than 60,000, if yes, then it will accept the job. If it is no, reject the offer. So if the salary is greater than 60,000, it will accept the offer. If it is less than 60,000, it will reject the offer. Then again, there is a decision note. If commute is greater than 1 hour, if yes, then reject the offer. If it is accept the offer. Then it will again see the next criteria, that is performance incentives. If there is a performance incentives, no, reject the offer. And if the performance incentive, if it is yes, then accept the offer. So this way there is a graph which is obtained on the basis of the each outcome, and accordingly the decision will be taken. So this is nothing but the decision tree algorithm. Now let's see the implementation of decision tree and how this efficiency can be improved with the help of random forest algorithm. So decision tree and random forest algorithm are used to predict, does kyphosis exist after a surgery. So here we have the bunch of kids, and this bunch of kids will undergo the kyphosis surgery, and we need to predict the kyphosis present or absent. So let's see how we implement this, whether this kyphosis is present or absent with the help of the decision tree. So in the first section, again, we need to import the necessary libraries or need to load the necessary libraries, that is pandas, numpy, matplotlib, sevan. Then import the data set, that is nothing but kyphosis. And this is the data set. We have the kyphosis which is present, that is absent or present, age of patient, then the number. So these are the data set. That to extract the independent variable, that is x, and independent variable, that is x, and the dependent variable which is y. So x is nothing but the independent variable and y is nothing but the dependent variable. Next step, to visualize this count plot. So here this red line will indicate that the kyphosis is absent and the blue line will indicate that the kyphosis is present. So this way we can visualize the data and we can identify the pattern of the data, whether the kyphosis is present or absent. Then the next step is nothing but we split the data into training and testing set. Again, we use this sklearn model to import train test split. Then we'll split the data in the form of test and train. So again, here the 70% data can be used for the training purpose and 30% of the data is used for the testing purpose. Then we'll fit the model or train the model with the help of fit function, and we supply the train and test train value xtrain and ytrain value to fit the or train the model. Then predict the model by supplying the test value. So these are the prediction of the model. The kyphosis is absent or present, so the model will predict it. Then evaluate the model from the sklearn, the confusion matrix. So this is the confusion matrix. The diagonal element is 15 plus 1, that is the total value, that's n is equals to 25. So the accuracy of the model is the true negative plus 2 positive, which is 15 plus 1, so which get the 64% efficiency, and misclassification rate is very high, too high, which is 36%. The decision tree, the accuracy of the decision tree is 64. So let's improve this efficiency with the help of random forest classifier. So here the random forest classifier is used to improve the performance of the model. So here from the sklearn and forest classifier. So here this RFC is the abbreviation used for the random forest classifier, and here this n estimator we are using, that is 100, because we are using 100 trees because it is a random forest, so it is a kind of forest, so the number of trees is more, so it is a forest. We are using this random forest to fit the model. So here we use fit function. We are applying this train value, that is xtrain and ytrain, to train the model. Then we are using this predict function to predict the model and predict the result. So this is the efficiency or the accuracy of the model is 0.72%. The accuracy can increase. So with the help of confusion matrix, we can easily understand that how the accuracy can be increased. So here the accuracy of the model is 72% and the misclassification rate is decreased as compared to decision tree. So this way we use random forest algorithm or classifier to improve the efficiency of the decision tree. Next is the k nearest neighbors. So in k nearest neighbor, or KN, is a classification algorithm generally used to predict categorical values to find if new data point belongs to the cat category or dog category. So here we need k nearest neighbor classifier. So here the data points which is in between the weights and the height of the cat and dog, and here the new data point. So we need to classify that whether this new data point belongs to the dog class or cat class with the help of KNN algorithm. Value of k will define that what class a new data point is assigned to. So this is the new data point, and if the value of k is equals to 3, the new data point belongs to class cat. Why? Because for this circle k is equals to 3, we have 2 cat as compared to 1 dog, so we can say that this new data point belongs to class cat. If the value of k is equals to 7, the new data point belongs to class dog, because for k is equals to 7, here 4 dogs as compared to 3 cats. So this new data point which belongs to the class dog. So this way the k nearest neighbor algorithm will work. Implementation of KNN predict a person by SUV based on age and estimated salary. This is the real-time implementation. So we predict the person to buy a SUV based on the age and estimated salary. So let's implement this KNN algorithm with the help of the Jupyter Notebook and with the help of Python code. So the first section, we are importing the library, that is the pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn. Then import the dataset, again the social network ads which are used, and this is the data set. We have the data set which is used for this KNN algorithm. Then split the data into the independent and dependent variable. This is the next step. Visualize the data by obtaining the correlation or understanding the correlation of this data between the parameters, between the data points. Split the data into training and testing purpose with the help of this sklearn model selection, import train test split function, and will train and when split the data in the form of train and test. So we are using that 75% data for training purpose and 25% data for the testing purpose in this KNN algorithm. Then we need feature scaling to standardize the data to a particular scale to improve the accuracy of the model. Then fit the model with the help of fit. So here this is the feature scaling which is used to standardize the data. Then we fit the model with the help of fit function. We are passing this xtrain value and ytrain value to fit the model or train the model. So this k neighbors classifier will train on the basis of the xtrain and ytrain value. Then predict the model with the help of predict function, and this is the prediction of the model in the form of that 0 and 1. So this 1 means the person will buy the SUV, or if 0, it will not buy the SUV. So this is the prediction of the model. Then evaluate the model with the help of confusion matrix. The accuracy can be evaluated with the help of this confusion matrix. So here the diagonal value, the value of the diagonal value is maximum. So the accuracy of the model is pretty good. So here the implementation of KNN algorithm, understand the confusion matrix. Here the total number of n is 100, that is 64 plus 29 is diagonal animal plus 4 plus 3 which is 100. Then accuracy is obtained by 2 negative plus 2 positive divided by the total value of n which is 93%, which is pretty good. So the accuracy of this model is 90 and the model is misclassified. The misclassification rate is 7%. So this is the procedure through which we can identify that whether the person is buying a SUV on the basis of salary or not. So this is the KNN algorithm. So this all about the algorithm which is commonly used in machine learning. So let's discuss the another application of the machine learning, that is nothing but the machine learning in the field of healthcare. So I'm discussing the various area where the machine learning is very much useful in the healthcare. So first is nothing but the disease identification and diagnosis, medical imaging, drug discovery and manufacturing, personalized medical treatment, smart health records, disease prediction. So how this machine learning is useful in these area of the healthcare. Let's see the first, that is nothing identification of diagnosis. It is hard to diagnose disease manually. Machine learning plays a huge role in identifying the patient's disease. It will monitor his health and suggest necessary steps to be taken in order to prevent it. So this way, the machine learning is very much useful. It can include anything from minor diseases to major ones, such as cancer, which is tough to identify in the early stages. This machine learning algorithm helps the doctor to identify the cancer in the early stage, which is very much difficult in the previous days. So this is the advancement in the machine learning techniques. This is the advancement in the technique, and the machine learning is very much useful to identify the disease, which is nothing but the cancer disease in the early stage. Any type of cancer is a killer disease, and researchers are fighting every day to get new solution and development to help the people. So this is the area where the machine learning will play the key roles to identify the disease at the early stage. And once the early stage disease is identified, then it is easy to diagnose the disease like cancer and prevent the patient. Next is the drug discovery and manufacturing. A lot of research and development technologies such as next generation sequencing and precision medicine can help to find therapy of multifaceted health diseases. This machine learning algorithms such as unsupervised learning can identify patterns in data without providing for any prediction. So as already explained, that the unsupervised learning method, which is used to form a cluster, it will identify the pattern of the data without providing for any prediction. So here, discovering or manufacturing a new drug can be expensive and a long process because there are a number of compounds that are put to test and only one result can prove to be useful. So this way, the drug discovery and manufacturing, where the machine learning will play a vital role with the advancement in the technology to stimulating the process. So this way, this drug discovery and manufacturing process is possible with the help of the machine learning technique. The accuracy of the drug discovery and the manufacturing will be very much, we can say that the machine learning will play the vital role in this area of the healthcare. Then next is the medical imaging. With the help of machine learning techniques such as deep learning, it is now possible to find microscopic deformities in the scan image within the patient. As a result, doctors are able to suggest a proper diagnosis. So with the help of the various images, the person can identify the disease and it will suggest the diagnosis, and it is identify the disease and it will diagnose the disease. Traditionally, techniques like X-ray and CT scan were enough to inspect minor irregularities, but with the increased disease, there was a need to inspect them properly. So with the help of the machine learning technique, the diagnosis can be possible. Machine learning and deep learning are both responsible for the advancement known as computer vision. So computer visions will play a vital role in the diagnosis of image in the form of X-ray, CT scan, like that. Then personalized medicine or treatment. With the explosion of patient data in the form of genetic information and electronic health records, doctors are able to provide personalized treatment to individual patient according to their precise needs. So with the explosion of patient data, a lot of data are available, and the genetic informations are also available. Electronic health records are maintained. Doctors are able to provide personalized treatment on the basis of those data, on the basis of those digital records. Their aim is to gain insight from massive amount of data sets and use it to make patient healthy at individual level. So with the help of this useful information from the digital data, the electronic health record, it makes patient healthy at individual level. These insights are able to suggest personalized combination and predict disease risk with the help of machine learning technology. So this way, the machine learning will helpful in personalized medicine or the treatment of the patient. Then we have the smart health records. While technology has eased the process of data entry, there are still some processes that take up a lot of time. Maintaining up-to-date records every day is exhausting as well as time-consuming. It is a time-consuming process to update the record, day-to-day record. After initiating such huge work, maintaining health record is another area where machine learning has entered to save time, effort, and money. Google's Cloud Vision API and MATLAB's machine learning based handwriting recognition technology are used for document classification method. So here we are using various machine learning handwriting recognition techniques. So with the help of that, we can able to keep the document classification, or we can able to keep the record up to date. Now, various machine learning technology are being put to use in monitoring and predicting outbreaks around the world. Scientists have access to a massive amount of data collected from satellites, social media platforms, websites, etc. Machine learning techniques such as artificial neural networks helps to collaborate with this information and predict everything from minor diseases to severe chronic infectious diseases. So these are the machine learning, the various machine learning techniques such as in the form of neural networks. The diseases can be predicted well in advance, and accordingly the diagnosis can be done on the basis of those techniques. Next is how machine learning is transforming healthcare industry. The healthcare industry is one of the most labor intensive industry around the world. It requires the presence of human to take care of people at various stage of their illness. There are some reasons why we need machine learning to do this work more efficiently. We have high volume of imaging data with increased number of patients. Stress, there are a lot of stress on the doctor due to high volumes of data makes them more error prone. Machine can handle large set of imaging data with lower error rate. So here the machine is, there is a advantage of using machine. It will handle large volume of data with less error rate. This is the key advantage of using machine learning. Inability of healthcare professional to link and see the big picture from imaging data. Machine can help them by accessing large number of image data set and determining whether there are any patterns or any connections among group of patient or groups of localities. Nowadays it is very much common because nowadays we are living in the, so it is very much, this machine learning is very much helpful. It will gather the information from the patient, from the number of person, and will keep the record, and accordingly it will predict the disease. It replaces the doctor or specialized at a time of their absence. This is a key operation machine do when a specialist is not available. It can replace the human specialist and provide diagnosis in even critical cases. Here, when the sometimes when the specialist is unavailable, so in this particular case the machine learning will play the key role. It will diagnose the critical cases. In my opinion, this function of a machine learning will use more and more, and the day is not far when the entire area of image diagnosis will be done by a machine with no human intervention. So this way the machine learning, this is the scenario, the current trend where the machine learning will be helpful to diagnose the disease in more advanced way. Next is how machine learning is useful in healthcare. and it is useful to transforming the healthcare. Drug discovery is a very key area for the healthcare industry. Research in the pharmaceutical companies for disease like cancer or HIV is continuously happening. Machine learning is helping speed up drug discovery by analyzing medicinal data and providing predictions model on drug reactions even before they are injected into subjects in a controlled environment. So a lot of techniques have been used in drug discovery by analyzing the medicinal data, how this medicinal is useful for a particular purpose, particular patient, and what is the reaction of those drugs on that particular application. So it can be analyzed with the help of machine learning techniques. This saves both time and money, as the simulation of drug reaction gives an estimate on likely cure pattern and reactions to the drug. So this save both time and money because the simulation of drug reactions gives an estimate on likely cure patterns and reactions to the drugs. What are the reactions of the drug, or what are the cure pattern which is needed for the particular treatment. Then patient research is difficult field like cancer, etc. There is a lot of data available in the field of both patient and clinical trials of medicines. Clinical trials are time consuming and requires collection of subject data on reactions in the body. This is either collected invisively, such as via blood samples or blood test, or non-invasively, such as through urine test or putting probes on certain body parts of the subject. So this is the area where the machine learning will play the key role. Then importance of machine learning in the healthcare areas where healthcare has machine learning applications. These areas are disease identifications. With the help of machine learning, the disease can be identified, personalized medicine, drug discovery, drug manufacturing industries uses machine learning algorithm, machine learning techniques, clinical trial research, radiology, which is very much common, very much use this machine learning techniques, digital health records, epidemic outbreak prediction, surgical robotics. So surgical robotics is nowadays will used to do the critical operations, critical treatment, critical diagnosis. So the surgical robotics is very much popular nowadays, which uses this machine learning algorithm. So this way, the machine learning, the importance of machine learning in the healthcare industry. Areas of healthcare research where there is a huge potential. The three most promising area in the healthcare are digital health records. We can able to keep the digital health record with the help of this machine learning, with the help of the various technique which can detect the handwriting of the record, and which are able to keep the digital records. Then disease diagnosis, the machine learning will play the vital role. Then the radiology, where the machine learning will play the vital role because various imaging techniques is used, and with the help of that imaging techniques, by observing the pattern, the X-ray image, the MRI image, the technique is used to identify the disease, and accordingly the diagnosis can be done. The common machine learning application in radiology, that is medical image segmentation, registration, computer-aided detection and diagnosis, brain function or activity analysis, neurological disease diagnosis from fMR images, content retrieval system for CT or MRI images, and text analysis of radiology reports using natural language processing. The primary purpose of machine learning is to help radiologists make intelligent decision on radiology data such as conventional radiographs, CT, MRI, and PET image and radiology reports. So these are the common machine learning applications in the radiology. Medical image segmentation. So on the basis of this, the image segmentation, we are using this image segmentation algorithm. We can segment the image in the different parts, different portion, and accordingly we can able to diagnose this. Then the image registration is another important area of the machine learning where the image processing technique is used. With the data can be gathered with the help of this registration method, then computer aided detection and diagnosis. So we use this computer aided detection to detect the cancer in the early stage and diagnose these disease, the cancer disease, which is very much the disease which is at the early stage. With the help of that we diagnose, we can identify the disease. Then brain function or activity analysis. The brain function activity, with the help of that various MRI, we can able to analyze the brain activity, brain function, whether that the brain is working properly or not. And we use this machine learning for neurologic disease diagnosis from fMRI image, then content-based image retrieval system for CT or MRI image and text analysis. So with the help of this text analysis process, we can able to abstract the data with the help of this natural language processing. Natural language processing is the another area where the lot of the technique of the machine learning technique which can be used. The primary purpose of machine learning is to help radiologists make intelligent decisions on radiology data such as conventional radiographs, CT, MRI, and PET, image and radiology reports. Key reason why we need disease diagnosis to be done by machine learning. Every year, we have 195,000 patients in the US die of medical diagnosis error because of improper diagnosis. A lot of patients have been died in US, the country like US, which is the advanced country. So this is due to the fact that due to improper diagnosis, inability of a human being to process huge amount of information, analyze it and apply it to a particular disease diagnosis. So it is an inability to a doctor inability of human being to process huge amount of information, analyze it and apply it to a particular disease diagnosis. Then cloning of an expert robot is cheap and fast compared to a doctor, where cloning of expert human doctor is forbidden by law in many countries. So the cloning of expert robot is cheap. We can clone the expert robot in place of the person which or human expert doctor, because forbidden while cloning of this human expert doctor is forbidden by law in many countries. So this problem can be very well shot out with the cloning of the expert robot, and this robot will do the necessary surgery and necessary diagnosis in the critical situation. Then accuracy in diagnosis is critical, as incorrect diagnosis increase the cost of healthcare for a patient. So when we use this machine learning or the expert robot is used in for diagnosis purpose, so the accuracy in the diagnosis is very much pretty high. And where there is a concern of accuracy, the diagnosis is critical as incorrect diagnosis, because there is a chance of incorrect diagnosis, the high probability to a high probability of increasing the diagnosis, the cost of healthcare for the patient. Then we are using the machine learning. We can track, measure, optimize, learn, and improve based on feedback on the accuracy of diagnosis by a robot or a machine. To increase the value of healthcare to its patient, it is an absolute must to decrease the cost of diagnosis given to a patient. So to increase the value of healthcare to its patient, it is an absolute must to decrease the cost of diagnosis given to a patient. So the ultimate goal is that to reduce the cost of the patient, so that it will increase the importance or the value of the healthcare with the help of technology. Because when we develop the technology, the ultimate goal is that to reduce the cost and the accuracy of the diagnosis must be high. Then value equal to the patient health outcome per dollar spent on the treatment. So higher the value of the healthcare when the patients will spend less amount of money in the diagnosis. So the technique is needed which will reduce the cost of the diagnosis and improve the accuracy of the diagnosis. Thank you very much for the patient hearing. So that's all from my side. So this is all about this session. So I request the organization, please take over.
Thank you, sir. The session was very informative, and we have Rishi Asthana, sir, director, sir. He will give a thanks to you. So just wait.
Thank you very much, sir. It's my pleasure to be a part of this FDP.
So I think Rishi Asthana, sir, has lost the connection.
Okay.
So I thank you, sir, on behalf of whole Goel Institute of Technology and Management. And some people were not able to join the session due to some issues. And
Okay.
looking forward for your kind cooperation, sir, in the future. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay.
All the participants, Google form will be shared for attendance and feedback. So fill it on the WhatsApp group. Thank you all.